coming in cold. I'm ready to play today.
All right. So the crack of the bat. When I was a little kid, I used to watch. A lot of you aren't old enough for maybe to know who the what the baseball bunch is, but every week, my baseball right before the game of the week on NBC, you had the baseball bunch. Yeah, this week in baseball, and they always play that song as a little kid. Me reminiscing back to the days, and I always think about this time of year. Now that it's Memorial Day, happy Memorial Day to all of you vets out there, all of you that have served. I always think about this is like the official start of baseball in a lot of ways. Now, like the NBA is about done, NHL is about done. We don't have football for a while. It's time for baseball now to be in the forefront even more in the sports landscape as it is. And so today we're going to talk about our baseball summer series. And what are we talking about today? Maybe the best team in all of minor league baseball, the Orioles, minor league affiliate, the Norfolk Tides. Okay, so, and that's not hyperbole saying that. This is one of the best lineups we've seen. The Orioles are in the midst of having great players in the minors right now. So we have one of the best minor league systems as well. So we have great players at Norfolk. Buck Britton is interesting there as well. Buck Britton, a lot of people wanted him to manage instead of Brandon Hyde when Brandon Hyde was really struggling. Interesting to see what the future holds for him. Had tremendous success as a minor league manager. It's going noticed. Joe Gregory has been the manager there of the Tides for many years as the GM. Couple notable names here. Not definitely we're going to high performers. Ryan Watson is there. Kind of struggled so far this year, but he was the minor league pitcher of the year. Hasn't really pitched a lot. They just got Blake Hunt in the trade for Mike Bauman and Nick Maton following former major leaguer, probably a guy there that's played a lot. You want guys like Nick Maton there because you can instantly bring him up. Doesn't matter if he's hitting 102. He's been in the majors before. He's in minors. He's a guy you can instantly bring up. Who are the top performers there? Jackson Holliday now playing at second base for them. The number one prospect now dipped down, finally moved. Number one prospect in baseball. Not worry about Jackson. Long term, he'll be just fine. No reason to rush him. No reason. Struggled a little bit. I think struggling for the first time, him with confidence. He's been going better lately. Jackson, I think, will be fine. Jackson, he will. And by the way, he will be on the Orioles this year. All right, it's not going to be. No. It's going to be this year when we see Jackson. Connor Norby, I think, is actually in the majors and a lot of other promotions. And compared to a lot of the franchise, I think he's pretty blocked with the Orioles as well. I think he's been really good. It'd be interesting to see what happens with Norby if they give him a trade. Heston Kjerstad did a little cup of coffee in Baltimore. He has been killing it. 32 home runs, 44 RBIs with the Norfolk Tides as well. Again, kind of blocked, kind of didn't get a chance here. Kobe Mayo has been terrific for the Orioles this season for the Tides, but he hasn't been able to stay healthy. He's definitely been out for a little while. Billy Cook, here's one. Doesn't really hit for power. That's probably why you're not seeing him high on prospect rankings, but he hits for a good average as well. Chance McDermott as well. Here's a guy I think has a chance to pitch this year. Interesting with him. Funny enough, we don't talk about pitchers being blocked, but the rotation for the Orioles has been so good. He's been down there, so I think he's going to stay down there for a while. Kate Povich, not quite as strong as well, but Kate Povich is at 10, so keep that in mind as well. So definitely all of these guys, I think, on this list, except for with the exception of Billy Cook and maybe Kobe Mayo, will be in the majors, I think, next season. I don't think there's any reason to hold these guys back. So this is one of the best teams in the minor leagues as well. I don't see any reason why the Tides actually couldn't win another AAA championship. Only thing with them, can they get enough pitching? That's kind of been their Achilles heel. That's kind of the Achilles heel of the minor league pitching organization. You got McDermott and Povich. Is that going ahead and enough to actually go ahead and get that squared away? So definitely here's a team with major league contributors and actually playing well. Record not quite as good. but they call that the Norfolk Five. Holiday, Norby, Kerstad, and Mayo. They did have Kyle Stowers, but he's down in the majors. So there you go with the tie. Wrong side there. There you go. Get that off of there. We'll talk about the Orioles, the DSL Orioles, like you saw in that clip. We'll talk about a lot of those teams as well in the. We're gonna have so much fun. You're gonna hear a lot about minor league baseball, college World Series, Little League World Series. That is definitely a segment I'm absolutely looking forward to.
Oh, put me in cold. I'm ready to play today.
Hope YouTube doesn't get me and all that. So, but I love that song. Definitely think about baseball. The recap. Orioles were victorious tonight. So they just wrapped that up there. Orioles 6-1 tonight. Some of the stats are not updated for tonight's game. So, but I did go over it as well. So let's see how the Orioles are doing. 34-19, 6 out of the last 10. Second in the AL East division for the American League. Batting order. This is pretty much the order. It kind of doesn't stay the same. That's kind of how it is nowadays in baseball. But Gunner's been first. And I've never liked it. I think you're giving away RBIs by batting him first, but that's just kind of how managers are nowadays. Like you gotta, that's a whole nother thing. But Gunner's been hitting first. He's been leading. He's tied for the league in home runs. I think he's been terrific all season long. Average not quite as high as Adley, but I think he's hitting for power. He's doing everything well. Gunner, I think, is definitely in the MVP conversation. Bob Costas had him one of the top 5 players in all of baseball, so that's high praise right there when you had that. Adley Rushman at catcher. I think Adley, I think, is definitely – I think he's even kind of slept on in the MVP conversation. Adley, again, so consistent, hits for average every game. I think tonight was one of the few nights I think he's had off from catcher or DH. So he's so consistent every night. Adley, I think, is a terrific player. I think they pretty much carry the load, too. They're definitely aircraft carriers, no question about it. Ryan O'Hearn, I think, has been outstanding as well. Definitely hit very well all season long. Definitely with his timely hitting. Mountcastle, I think he's been out the lineup more than he should have been, I think, but this is the problem when you have such a good lineup. They're Brandon Hyde. I think he'd be playing more, but he's played a lot. I mean, but he's very, very good at first now, too. That's kind of like underrated. Anthony Santander is there as well. Santander has been struggling with an injury. Still need to be more consistent, though, as far as that goes. He's been fighting an injury pretty much all year, but he's hot and cold. Early Rookie of the Year candidate is Colton Cowser. Westberg, I think, has been consistent on both sides of the ball. Cedric Mullins has been struggling at the plate. He's still good in the field as well. Definitely still the leader of the outfield when he's there. And it's Jackson Holiday being kept in the minors by Jorge Mateo. Interesting. Mateo's been really good. I don't think you're not hearing the Mateo jokes right now because he's been phenomenal all season long. Corbin Burns, I think that it's 5. Is he 5-2 or is he 4? I think if he won tonight, I think he might be 5-2. But Burns, I think, hasn't had a bad start all season. I think he's been pulled a little bit too early all year, but I think he's been great. Grayson, I think, outside of 2 starts, has been about as good as Burns. I think his last start, not great. He's had 2 starts, but Rodriguez has been definitely the best strikeout pitcher there. Bradish is now, man, I'd love to see him finish that no the other day. Pitched 7 innings with no hits. Bradish has been really good. Working back from an injury, I'll get to that, but man, Bradish has been really good when he started. Dean Kramer's on the IL right now. We're back. He's probably, again, this is probably what he is. Probably maybe the worst one they have. But he's been decent enough. I mean, I got no real problem with him. He's keeping you in game. Cole Irvin, this is what they expected last year. Cole Irvin been fantastic. all season long. Cole Irvin definitely been like really, really dominant all season. So good for him. John Means, again, on the IL. It's such a shame because he's so good when he's pitching. John finally got Means going, and again with the injury. Funny enough, I hardly know what the injury is with him as well. So interesting to see. Craig Kimbrell is back in the closer role, so there's no question about it. 11 saves, 159 ERA. He had a little stretch where he was bad, but yeah, again, I think he's. I think the jokes. I kind of don't get the jokes. Why people think Kimbrell's worse than what he is. I don't really get it. I mean, but hey, I can tell you this: they don't have that much confidence in Cano getting the role, which I thought. I still think that's kind of odd. He hasn't been as good this year. Definitely, I mean, last year, I mean, it was microscopic, but definitely kind of giving up some key hits, and I think they were hesitant to give him that role. Danny Colombe has been really good. I think the bullpens have worked a little bit too hard. I think a different situation, if he could work a little less, he'd give up fewer runs, but here and there. Webb has been really good. I think a lot of people calling for Webb to be the closer. I don't blame him. He's been outstanding. Colano Perez still working his way in. I still like him. I still like the way he pitches. He pitches hard. Keegan Aiken is there as well. I don't know why they like him so much. Aiken, I think, is definitely inconsistent. Dylan Tate is kind of working his way back in. Hasn't really been using high leverage. I don't know how, again, kind of like Cano. The numbers aren't so bad, but you can tell the manager doesn't have so much confidence in him. Albert Suarez, been in the rotation, has been good. Was in the bullpen. I think he might stay in the rotation for a while. Lord only knows what it's going to be mean to Kramer when they get back. There you go. The month for the Orioles, so definitely victorious tonight, 5-1. Oh, I'm sorry, 6-1 over the Boston Red Sox, winning the series as well.